What's going on, everybody? It's the Indoor Hunter, and in case you haven't heard, the Hunter Call of the Wild finally announced their next map coming out. We're going to Nepal, and we've got tigers. Let me say that again. We have tigers. Yeah, you know, the ones with stripes. The cereal guy. Okay, we get to shoot him now. All jokes aside, though, there is so much to talk about, so much to unpack. I mean, I've watched this stream now, I don't know how many times, trying to just get it all in. And really, we won't know everything until next week when they do an even more in-depth reveal. Right now, a lot of stuff is speculation, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, is speculate and hopefully end up not being wrong. But you never know. The map's not out yet, so we can't tell much. But without further ado, let's watch the trailer that they released for the map.
Here, where the shadow of the Himalayas stretches over the hunting grounds of the Bengal tiger.
Amazing.
Life exists on the edge.
That's probably the best animal model that I've seen so far added to the game.
And the mountains stand before you.
That little critter looks cool to shoot.
It's an experience like nothing else.
We got some yaks.
Welcome to Nepal.
And of course, the tiger. Sundarpatan, Nepal Hunting Reserve. Look at that freaking thing. Hang on, let's pause it there. Folks, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not gonna lie. I like hunting lions and the fact that we get to have tigers now. Honestly, as an industry, that's pretty brave, because I feel like that's going to be controversial amongst the groups that don't really matter, because, you know, they're not actually playing the game and having fun. Because at the end of the day, it is a video game. But pretty big announcement. They're like, hey, you guys want to shoot some endangered species? Come on in. I'm down for it. I'm all in, folks. I'm not judging whatsoever. The first thing I'm looking for is me a Bengal tiger to put in the trophy lodge. I'll tell you that right now. Pretty stoked for it. Now, I gotta say, and gotta admit, I was pretty adamant and vocal on not having a jungle map for our next map. As a North American hunter, I'm pretty biased as far as what species I like to see in the game and like what I like to hunt. And just, I was envisioning kind of just a rehashing of maybe Emerald Coast, you know, just in a denser jungle setting, and I did not want that whatsoever. From what I've seen, and we're gonna talk about this, it looks pretty good. See, Jaxie's expression here was kind of the same as mine when I first saw the map here. Do you notice what I did? Notice how there's not a whole lot of water? I sure noticed it. And honestly, Jaxie's been talking about hunting different style of need zones for a very long time. Now, again, there's a lot to unpack here. We're going to skip some stuff maybe. If we do and you know it, put it in the comments below. But we may repeat subjects. I know there's a ton to talk about. And I'm super, super excited and hyped for it. But for the past several weeks now, even months maybe, Jaxie's been talking about going through and hunting, changing the way he's hunting. Maybe it's his own personal thing. You know, it makes sense. You know, if you get kind of stuck in a rut, try something different. But I almost wonder if he's been training himself to hunt differently, specifically for this map. Nothing's been confirmed. This is my own personal speculation. There's obviously ponds kind of everywhere. They're not the big giant lakes that we're used to. There's a single river system, it looks like, and then we got a ton of lakes. Now, and they look like tiny lakes. So this could actually be a grinder's dream, unless, and I've got a theory here, the next great one may not actually have a drink zone. Now, obviously, that's not confirmed, and even the new great one's not confirmed. I keep seeing everybody talking about the tar being the next great one simply because they call it the great one. I'm really hopeful that they're being intentionally deceitful, and obviously it's going to be like the tiger or something, or they do something even crazier, and they're like, hey, by the way, every single species on this map has a great one. That would be cool. But I'll say this, folks, for those of you that are super disappointed, because I'll be a little disappointed if the great one is a tar, but it is what it is. If that's the case, what that's going to do is, though, it's going to open up every single species to the possibility of having a great one, just even more. That's just really going to kick that door open, and really allow them to do probably what they've been wanting to do. I would see in the end that most species are going to end up being great ones. I don't know, maybe. I digress. That aside, if we're looking at the map here, though, and as we go through some of the overhead, because we get a good in-depth view here, let's go ahead and skip forward just a little bit so we can see the map here. Standard map size looks like giving me a little bit of mixture between, I mean, this is all super mountainous, obviously, but giving me some portions of Emerald Coast vibes, but visually when you see it, man, it's wild. Let's scroll through here. They're talking about the tiger and all that cool stuff. Get our first aerial shot. He's showing off the outpost. There we go. He's flying around. And again, I'm very intentional not playing this. So you guys, I want you guys to go out there and encourage you to go watch this for yourselves. That way you can make your own conclusions and all that stuff. About it. Don't just take my word for it. But visually looking at the map, it seems pretty hecking awesome. This view right here blew my mind. I'm like, oh, I thought we were just getting mountains, but we're getting valleys and everything else. This is what leads me to think that we might actually be focusing more on feed zones or rest zones instead of drink zones. I mean, we've obviously got some waterways and rivers and stuff like that, and I could be completely wrong here, but the way he's been talking so much lately about hunting other need zones, maybe, and I gotta find it. You can sort of, it's kind of hazy, but you can kind of see a clear cutting here. There's a waterway there. And they did mention, again, this just looks beautiful. You can see here, this is where they were kind of talking about, you've got these big open spaces. I'm theorizing, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm theorizing, because there's not a whole lot of lakes and rivers and stuff on this map, maybe these are going to be our grind zones. Maybe these big patches are those lakes. I don't know. I could be wrong. Flip side of that coin, with the way these big open, because they said that they wanted, because they knew it was going to be thick and dense as a jungle, but they also want to assume everyone's carrying a gun, and obviously, if you're in dense, thick jungle, you might as well carry a bow, and so they're talking about how they've got all this clear open spaces just for our gun hunters, and I'm hoping the way this is set up, it's going to be pretty good for bow hunting too. We have yet to see a map that's really good. Maybe Mississippi, if you stretch it. New England's okay for this, but for those of you simmers that want to do the thing, turn off the HUD, sit up in a tree stand all day and shoot what comes by, this map might be that kind of thing, because that's when I'm overlooking it here and I'm seeing these fields and stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, I might. Got a pond right here. Might put a tree stand off in the corner here. That'd be a pretty good spot. I don't know if we're going to go in that depth with the map or what the animals are going to do, but there's a lot of speculation going on, man. And I'm just excited because mostly tigers. I'm hoping this doesn't end up being a bust in a way, kind of like, let me rephrase that. I don't dislike Emerald Coast, but it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. It's fine. I've actually turned around on the map. I actually really enjoy playing it now, but when it initially came out, I was disappointed. I won't lie. I was like, well, rats, this isn't exactly what I was hoping for. And honestly, I don't know what I was hoping for. I'm going into this a little more open-minded now that I've got eyes on it, and I know, okay, it's not just a big, thick blanket of jungle, and we're just going to be running around in the dark the whole time. This is a slight diversion from the map itself, but honestly, a lot of problems could be solved within the game if they were to kind of redesign, because they did something with the Granite update when Reventuli Coast came out known as Home Ranges, and honestly, it ruined a lot of maps in my opinion. It totally killed Latent Lakes. Like, I really dislike what they did with that, and I'm hoping they did it a little bit smarter with this map, and the animal placement makes sense. And I understand, like, if it was perfect, it would be great, but it's not quite perfect. For an example would be mountain goats on Silver Ridge Peaks. You could find them at drink zones and stuff like that, but now they're mountain goats, so you got to go up the mountains. The problem is the mountains look like that, and you can't really see them. It's just, I'm being a baby, I want to be able to run out there like Reventuli Coast, see stuff at 300 meters at all times, but so far, man, it's looking really good. It's sounding really good. There's a lot of stuff coming with the update, a lot of bug fixes. They're fixing the cats screaming all the time, which will be nice. Now they specifically named Parque Fernando. I'm hoping that carries over to Silver Ridge Peaks because the mountain lions over there are pretty annoying and obnoxious as well. We're getting a new weapon. They didn't go too far into what it is. Hoping it's pretty good because honestly, a lot of like the map weapons just are okay. They're not the best. You know, the 6.5 with Quattro is the worst gun in the game. Like, as far as big rifles go, it's terrible. In my opinion. If you like the 6.5, leave a comment below. But I'm hoping we get a goodie with it. Probably the best weapon that comes from a map pack, though, would arguably be the 300 with Yukon Valley. So hopefully we get something on that caliber. It looks like we got a lot of big species. They did mention small species. In the trailer, we see some geese flying over, some sort of flying animal. We don't know exactly what it is. We can infer a lot by doing like a Google search of like big game species in Nepal. But that'll only get us so far until next week. They confirmed 13 species, 2 of which we know 100% without a doubt are going to be on there are water buffalo and tigers. Water buffaloes are getting a complete rework, and actually we need to skip back just a little bit and find where they were talking about everything that they're going to do. Okay, so talking about the highlights, got 13 new species. Again, so tar, tiger, and water buffalo are confirmed. So there's 10 other species. We have no idea what they are. Technically, there's 9 because we do know there's some sort of yak on there. We saw that in the trailer, but during this stream, they wouldn't talk about the animals. They wouldn't show them. They said that that's reserved for next week. But we're getting new water buffalo models. They look really good. Hopefully this is high def enough for you guys to see just how much detail is in that animal. Gonna get a bunch of population resets, all the bears, all the bobcats. What else we have? Water buffalo, black buck, pumas on Parque Fernando is getting a lot of love, which I'm assuming they're gonna share a lot of those same species. Again, we're just inferring at this point because we know way more than we did, but we still don't know a lot. And really, last but certainly not least, I mean, I think the star of the entire show, outside of the map itself, is the tiger. Again, we mentioned it earlier that this is very unique. This is a hunting game that is seemingly going to allow us to openly hunt tigers, which is obviously controversial, but they did it with lions and nobody cares. So I'm assuming that we're good to go here. It says keep an eye on our social channels this week to learn more about majestic Bengal tigers. Now, at the time that this video releases, they'll have already released all that stuff, so hopefully you guys are paying attention there. Their unique stalking and ambush mechanics make them formidable and imposing predators in the world of Call of the Wild. That sentence makes me excited. I'm hoping this is dangerous. I'm hoping we have to look over our shoulder and make sure we're not going to get eaten, because that's an element that is kind of missing from this game. Animals can and do go aggressive, but it's not... I'm never worried whenever animals are aggressive. I'm like, oh, it makes it easier. I want to be like, oh no, there's a tiger in the bush and we don't want that. So fingers crossed they did a good job there. Maybe some Cabela's big game or dangerous hunts vibes. I don't know. That really excites me though. I'm hoping we get a sense of kind of that danger like you would in real life. Because even like, you know, when you're just out there hunting in real life, you know, there's nothing inherently dangerous, you know, say for hunting a deer, but you never really know what's around the corner, and you should always have that alert, you know, feeling at least, I think. And I think that's going to give us this in Call of the Wild finally, is that there's always that one other thing that might be around the corner and you never know, and you want to make sure, you know, it's like when you're walking through the woods, make sure there's no snakes on the other side of that log you're getting ready to step over. And the same thing with this. Make sure there's no tigers hidden in the bush. Looking through handy dandy Google here for animal species up Nepal, and I actually forgot to mention they confirmed snow leopards as well, so that's going to be a thing. There are I think they said 3 or 4 different biomes. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. One of them is clearly a snowy-ish biome, but let's see. We've got red panda, snow leopard we know is confirmed. Clouded leopard, probably not. We got Bengal tiger, the Indian rhinoceros. I mean, they're adding tigers, but the Asian elephant, that could be interesting. Garl, which looks like some sort of alligator crocodile type animal, maybe. I truthfully can't tell. Outside of those few, and I forgot to mention too, Muntjac is also confirmed as well. But there's just so much speculation as to what species are actually going to be on here. Just looking at this list from Google, there's way more than 13. So I'll say we really don't know what else is going to be on here. It could be anything. I mean, we've got red panda, snow leopard, clouded leopard, Bengal tiger, the Garl, which is like a weird looking crocodile thing, Indian rhinoceros, musk deers, the Asian elephant, Tibetan fox. Here's what I think is definitely probably going to make it. We'll see if I'm wrong next week. We obviously have snow leopards, obviously have tigers, confirmed in game. The domestic yak, probably not going to be hunting that. So Eurasian lynx are apparently a popular hunting thing there, so those are probably going to be in there. There's also something known as a marsh crocodile, the gaur. I don't know. It looks like the big yak. I'm assuming that's what's pictured in the trailer. The Burmese python. Come on. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down to hunt that. I'd be down if they added a Florida map and let us go hog wild on some weird stuff, honestly. That should be a fun map. Common green magpie, which looks like a little parrot. A boss, which looks just like a bentang. There's a bunch of other repeat species too, which I'm sure we're going to see a few repeats, but outside of that, I mean, there's really not much more to say. I'm super, super excited. I can't wait for next week so we can get a little bit more details. I would imagine that the release of this, while not mentioned, is right around the corner. I'd say within the next 3 weeks it's going to be released. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.